Be ready. Start. The respondents filed writ petitions for quashing the notices issued by the market committees requiring them to take license under the Market Act and to pay market fee on the purchase of sugarcane by asserting that the provisions of the Market Act are not applicable to the transactions which are exclusively governed by the Madhya Pradesh Sugarcane Regulation of Supply and Purchase Act 1958 and the Sugarcane Control Order issued by the central government under Section 3 of the Essential Commodities Act 1955. Subsection 1 of Section 36 quoted above clearly provides that all notified agricultural produce brought into the market for sale shall be brought into market yards specified for such produce and shall not, subject to the provisions of subsection 2, be sold at any other place outside such yard. Subsection 3 of Section 36 further provides that the price of the notified agricultural produce brought into the market yard for sale shall be settled by tender bid or open auction system, and no deduction shall be made from the agreed price on any account whatsoever. Subsection 4 of Section 36 of the Market Act further provides that weighment or measurement of all the notified agricultural produce so purchased shall be done by a licensed weighman in the market yard or any other place specified by the market committee for the purpose. Subsection 1 of Section 37 of the Market Act states that any person who buys notified agricultural produce in the market area shall execute an agreement in triplicate in such form as may be prescribed in favor of the seller. Subsection 2 of Section 37 provides for payment of price of agricultural produce brought in the market yard on the same day to the seller at the market yard, and additional payment at the rate of 1% per day of the total price of the agricultural produce payable to the seller within 5 days. These provisions of sections 36 and 37 of the Market Act are in direct conflict with the provisions of clauses 3, 4, 5, 5A and 6 of the control order made by the central government under section 3 of the Essential Commodities Act 1955 discussed above. Similarly, these provisions of the Market Act are in direct conflict with the provisions of sections 12, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21, and 22 of the Sugarcane Act made by the state legislature of Madhya Pradesh discussed above. In view of such conflict, either the aforesaid provisions of the Market Act apply to the transactions of buying and selling of sugarcane between the occupiers of factories and the sugarcane growers or sugarcane growers cooperative societies, or the provisions of the control order made by the central government and the aforesaid provisions of the Sugarcane Act made by the state government apply to such transactions of buying and selling between the occupiers or owners of sugar factories and the sugarcane growers or sugarcane growers cooperative societies. The control order made by the central government and the Sugarcane Act made by the state legislature being a special order and special act relating to supply and purchase of sugarcane will apply to transactions of sale and purchase of sugarcane between the occupiers of the factory and the sugarcane growers or sugarcane growers cooperative societies, and the provisions of the Market Act being a general act with regard to agricultural produce will stand excluded and will not apply to such transactions of buying and selling of sugarcane between the occupiers of factories and the sugarcane growers or sugarcane growers cooperative societies. The Sugarcane Act was enacted by the state legislature in the backdrop of inadequate supply of sugarcane to the factories and the difficulties faced by the cultivators in selling their produce and getting the price. Section 2 of the Act contains definitions of various terms. Section 3 mandates the state government to establish sugarcane board for the state. In terms of Section 4, the Sugarcane Board is required to advise the state government on matters pertaining to the regulation of supply and purchase of cane for sugar factories, the varieties of cane which are suitable for use in sugar factories, the maintenance of healthy relations between occupiers, managers of factories, cane growers, cooperative societies, cane development council, and purchasing agents and such other matters as may be prescribed. Section 5 provides for establishment of a cane development council whose functions are to consider and approve the program for development of the zone, to advise regarding the ways and means for the execution of the development plan in all its essentials such as cane varieties, cane seed, sowing program, fertilizers and manures, to undertake the development of irrigation and other agricultural facilities in the zone, etc. Thank you.